Yo, what's going on, guys? I wanted to get this video up. Today I ran a poll on Instagram going over, a yes or no poll asking you guys if recap on today's session and how I created the game plan this morning to, really capture a lot of these moves. The market rewarded us and rewarded our game plan today with great results. I think the contracts around here where the 277 calls are trading at around 94 cents. And at the end of the day, I think they hit highs of like 250. So over 100% gains, plenty of opportunity. And I want to quickly get into this and make this video short and sweet and go over the gap up and ultimately what resulted in this, long trend day up. So I have Monday's session up here on the left, and we obviously have today's session here on the right. Now, what we took away from the pre-market was we were looking to open above yesterday's high. That's a key signal for me to really, show us that we're making a bullish move overnight. Now, inventory was long. Obviously, we closed down here at about 274.60. The high of the day was 276.55, and we opened up here around the 277.20 range. So I want to get into that quickly. But a gap up above the previous day high is a very bullish move. Now it is a large gap up, so usually what we like to do on a large gap up is be a little bit patient and see if the gap holds, if the gap retraces closer to the high and holds. With that being the case, you can take a long position off the gate with a stop, if we break below this high and get back accepted into this range. Because once that happens, the gap is filled. We're no longer in that bullish move. We're right back into yesterday's value. Now, that wasn't the case today. As you can see here, our line, the 276.55, we had a key resistance at 277.20 here at the open, and that was battling a little bit. So that was showing me I wanted to be a little bit patient, see what was going on, and really go from there. So I sent into the group chat. I'm gonna be watching for a pullback, see if we pull back and test the gap, and we might have a long position. I also said I don't really feel comfortable shorting this market with the gap up. You could have looked for a short position if this level failed and we entered back into this range. That wasn't the case. So what we were looking at here is our loading zone. Consolidation here. We formed the bottom above the gap. So the gap was holding. Our MACD was starting to get into a pullback zone as well. We were on the bottom Bollinger Band, really building up that, that support. And if you see where the red line is, we're still above that gap. So that's telling me, hey, this gap is holding. Now, you could have gone with two entries here on this play. You could have bought in once you saw that this bottom was holding, or you could have got in on the reversal breakout at these two candles. You can see the crossover of the 13 EMA from the downside up, and also we had the breakout of our 277.20 resistance level, which was a pre-market resistance to start off. Now, we tested that at the open. We failed to hold. Usually when you come back and test the second or third time, the chances of you breaking are significantly increased. Now, we saw that today. And, I send out the upside and downside destinations every single day in chat. Above 277.20, there was nothing until 278.74. Now, when that's the case, look at what happened. We migrated right to that level very fast. We had the pullback. Nice consolidation pullback here to test the uptrend. Consistently held that 13 EMA and rode it, the entire day almost. Now, when we have those wide destinations and we have the gap up, which is bullish, we had our high volume, we had volume in this area at the load up zone, the gap held, all of these signs are bullish for us. Now, if you weren't loading up here, like I said, you could have loaded up here at the breakout of this level. You could have loaded up here on the confirmation that this uptrend was holding and sold back into the next resistance. This is 277.60 around. You could have sold for $1 a share gain here. Another great entry was midday. Now, this is something I don't usually like to advise, but on a trend day up, it is something that you can work with if you feel comfortable sitting through a position and swinging it. Another load up zone here on our 278.74 support. We saw price consolidating, holding. We kind of got into a neutral zone here as our Bollinger Bands constricted. Our EMAs and middle Bollinger Band went flat. Volume dried out. So this was a load up zone. As you can see here, we had a little bit of volume spike, and that sort of, got things going up to our next destination, which is around the 279.81 level. Now, $1 per share in the SPY can reward you so greatly with options. All you need is a 20-cent move to make 10%. Now, if you're nailing $1 per share and you were, on board with this game plan and know right out of the gates that this is going to be an opportunity for you, then you got to stick with it and, practice your execution, work on it, because these patterns repeat over and over and over again. Not to this strength. We weren't, expecting a move like this. I think we could have all expected somewhat of a short covering after this. We certainly got that. Volume was mediocre, not too bad. 77 million shares traded on the upside. A pretty nice volume day after news of the Fed possibly cutting rates. Apparently we're talking to China again. Who the hell knows? Wall Street had the confidence it needed to really break out of this and form a bottom. Yesterday we formed the bottom at our 273.27. I spoke about that on Monday's video prior to the opening, that this might have been our bottom support. And, we had it into the close, and that's where that heavy volume came into the close. And it carried over overnight, and we rode from there. Great example of a trend day up. Great example of a gap hold, gap and go, we like to call these patterns. On trend days, you could look for great pullback opportunities. We saw that. Now, what I can really recommend going forward is mastering these levels that I hand out in the morning. This is what I stride myself on, really providing great value for my clients, is these levels are always top of the line. As you could see from these, these two sessions back to back, these levels were fantastic for intraday trading. Now, if you can master these levels with support and then align your indicators to adjust entries, you really can have a great wealth creating source of income here. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. I would be very happy to go over this. If you have any other questions about, this sort of gap and go pattern, maybe pullback, support entries, whatever the case may be. But today was a moneymaker if you were around to trade it. Now, that's all I got to say. It was a little bit of a longer video, but thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you in chat.